Nevin, let's talk biodiversity.
Biodiversity.
Biodiversity, okay. Biodiversity of what?
Biodiversity on the agricultural landscape.
Okay.
In fact, that is the name of the Canadian Pavilion happening this week in Montreal. Now, you've heard of COP27, COP29, all the convention of the parties with the UN for climate change is usually
Yes.
the one that
It was in
takes
Switzerland
the
this year,
stage.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
So happening this year is COP15, which is the convention of the parties on biodiversity, and it's taking place in Montreal this year. So interesting enough, Pulse Canada put in a request to have a presentation on biodiversity. So I have the honor of going to Montreal to present on a Sunday about biodiversity on the agricultural landscape.
Super cool. That's a huge topic, though, because we could talk about so many different types of biodiversity. So what specifically are you going to talk about?
So I'm actually speaking for 2 of the 10-minute slots. It's a big trip for 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
But I have one presentation on the Alberta Wetland Monitoring Project
Okay.
to talk about the stewardship and responsible use of pesticides on the agricultural landscape. So essentially pollution reduction.
Okay.
And I've also been asked to talk about adult education and extension pertaining to insect biodiversity.
Cool. Okay.
So that's something that you and I both love because as
You more than me, yes.
well, we both have taken on Scott Mear's former role of hosting Alberta Bug Chat.
Yes.
And that is a great social media tool and platform to not only have farmers send in bugs to be properly ID'd,
Yeah.
but to also talk about the importance of field heroes. So we're going to be highlighting first and foremost Field Heroes, which is funded by Western Grains Research Foundation.
Okay, who are field heroes?
Field heroes are the beneficial insects in our fields.
Beneficial. So, for somebody who's like super new, what do you mean by beneficial?
So beneficial insects are pollinators,
Okay.
are predator insects that eat other bugs,
Okay.
and also parasitoid insects. So parasitoids are the coolest of them,
They really are.
So parasitic wasps are probably the most well known. So they'll actually go and lay
It's like a SWAT team.
Yeah, they'll oviposit their eggs inside other insects.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty creepy, the footage that you see of all of these larvae emerging from
I eat you from the inside out.
You bet.
Yeah.
And even fungal pathogens too can be field heroes. So certainly grasshoppers, and farmers love seeing photos of grasshoppers with these like fruiting bodies exploding from their heads.
Super cool, crazy
So
stuff.
we're going to be talking about field heroes.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about Alberta Bug Chat. But we're also going to be highlighting the Prairie Pesticide Monitor or Prairie Pest Monitoring Network.
Okay.
So you're aware that they don't only do surveys for pathogens and disease,
Yeah.
but they also do surveys for insects. So I'm going to be in 10 minutes talking about what is happening in the ag industry on adult education and extension relating to biodiversity. Because Canada, believe it or not, we don't score very well in the international stage on biodiversity. And it has to do with our field sizes, the fact that we're monocropping, etc. And what the international community doesn't know is how much undisturbed vegetation actually exists out there on the landscape.
Okay.
In fact, on my family farm, we went through the calculation just the other evening. And of all the land we own, 24% of our acres are either in wetland, woodlot, or undisturbed vegetation. Could be old stone piles as well. But those provide critical habitat for the multitude of insects that we have on the landscape
So land that you own
that we own.
that is not actively being used for crop production.
Right.
Okay.
And that doesn't include pasture and grass for hay, right? We have a couple of those fields. We count those as cultivated acres, but 24% of the acres on my family farm are left in undisturbed vegetation. And this is a message that we have to communicate to the international community, to some of the countries that import our pulse crops, our cereal grains, oil seeds, etc.
Because those acres are huge habitat for insect biodiversity.
Right. So 10 minutes is all I get, and we're going to be highlighting I think 3 of the best programs out there talking about insects, the importance of insects, and also, highlighting the role that they play in pollination services, in keeping insect pest populations in check. Those are the predators, the parasitoids, and certainly highlighting the vast amount of acres we have across the ag landscape that are in undisturbed habitat.
That's super cool. That makes me want to go home and actually map out all the land that we farm and look for the same, because I think that's one thing that as farmers we don't often do is advocate in a unique way the stewardship that we have.
Right.
Because it is, field heroes are critically important, and you've got some cool stories about aphids
Right.
and beneficials that I'm sure that you'll be able to share.
I have those photos queued up, and certainly, I mean, I think for the audience, the bulk of the presentation is going to be photos. And I mean, I think I have like 35 slides for 10 minutes.
That's
but
awesome.
it's all going to be photos. We have some great video that Colin put together, mashup of all the field heroes. So insects eating other insects, those parasitoids ovipositing, give them a real, foray into what a lot of people wouldn't know anything about.
Okay, cool. And maybe just for our membership, or for a farmer who is trying to figure out, okay, what do I actually have? Maybe this sparks some question. So Field Heroes is a great website and resource to help you go out and say, okay, do I actually have beneficial insects working for me? And then, just anytime you need to reach out to Nevin and myself, we have a huge team of entomologists that back us. They're a fantastic group of individuals, just to really help ID and benchmark and make decisions.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you've got a Twitter handle, just use the hashtag ABBugChat. Throw an insect up there if you don't know what it is. And I mean, even in the off season, we'll have an ID for you in less than an hour.
Probably, yeah, absolutely. So, awesome. Okay, thanks, Nevin. Good luck in Montreal.
Thank you.